Being smart does not stop humans from believing strange things. Sometimes it just makes them better at explaining why they are right. Someone can read books, think clearly, solve problems, understand complicated ideas, and still believe something that looks completely irrational from the outside. Maybe they trust a miracle cure they found online. Maybe they are convinced the universe is sending them secret signs. Maybe they believe a conspiracy theory. Or maybe they are completely sure that everyone else is blind and they are the only ones seeing the truth. And the strange part is not just that they believe it. The strange part is how confident they can be. They have arguments, they have examples, they have stories that seem to connect perfectly. Because intelligence does not always protect humans from weird beliefs. Sometimes intelligence helps humans protect those beliefs. And that leads to an uncomfortable question. How can a smart person believe something that looks so irrational from the outside? But this video is not really about conspiracy theories, or miracle cures, or people believing things that sound ridiculous. It is about something much more human. Because the brain that can solve problems, learn languages, build cities, and send machines into space is also the brain that sees patterns where there may be none, protects beliefs even when evidence disagrees, and sometimes chooses belonging over truth. So in this video, we're going to look at 3 reasons humans believe weird things. First, because the brain would rather have a bad explanation than no explanation at all. Second, because beliefs are not just ideas, they can become part of who we are. And third, because believing the same thing as other people can make us feel safe, accepted, and less alone. And by the end, the question may not be, why do they believe that? But, what strange things do I believe without realizing it? The first reason humans believe weird things is simple. The brain does not like uncertainty. And for most of human history, that made sense. If you heard a noise in the bushes, it was safer to assume danger than to calmly wait for more evidence. A false alarm could waste energy, but ignoring real danger could end your life. So the brain became very good at asking, what does this mean? A strange noise, a sudden illness, a coincidence that feels too perfect. The brain looks for a pattern, and sometimes this is useful. You see dark clouds and you predict rain. You notice someone's tone changing and you sense something is wrong. Pattern recognition is one of the reasons humans are so intelligent, but there is a problem. The brain is so good at finding patterns that sometimes it finds them where there are none. You think about an old friend, and 5 minutes later they send a message, and the brain says, that can't be random. You have 3 bad things happen in one day, and suddenly the day feels cursed. You keep seeing the same number, and it starts to feel like a message. Not because you are stupid, but because randomness is emotionally unsatisfying. Randomness says things happen, and sometimes there is no reason. And humans don't love that answer. We prefer meaning, even if the meaning is strange, because a bad explanation can feel safer than no explanation. That is why weird beliefs can feel so convincing from the inside. Sometimes they are not madness. They're the brain trying to turn chaos into order, to make the unknown feel knowable, to make the world feel less random. But uncertainty is only the beginning, because once a belief enters the mind, it does not always stay as a simple idea. At first, a belief may sound like, I think this is true, but over time it can become, this is the kind of person I am. And once that happens, changing the belief no longer feels like updating information, it feels like losing a part of yourself. That is why humans can react so strongly when their beliefs are challenged. From the outside, it may look like a simple disagreement, but inside, it can feel like an attack. You were wrong. You were foolish. Your choices meant nothing. You are not who you thought you were. So the brain becomes protective, not because the person is trying to lie, but because admitting we were wrong can be painful. Imagine someone has believed something for years. They defended it, made decisions because of it, maybe built friendships around it. Maybe it made them feel special, awake, or different from everyone else. Now, if they accept the belief was wrong, they are not just changing their mind. They have to face a harder question. What does that say about me? So the brain looks for a way out. It ignores uncomfortable evidence. It searches for new arguments. It focuses on the one detail that still supports the belief. And this is where intelligence can make things worse. A smart person may be better at explaining contradictions, finding exceptions, and defending a belief with confidence. Not because they are closer to the truth, but because they are better at protecting the story they already have. Humans do not only use reasoning to discover what is true. Sometimes we use reasoning to defend what we need to be true. And once a belief becomes identity, letting it go can feel like letting go of yourself.
And then there's the third reason: belonging. Because humans don't just believe things alone, we believe things with other people. A belief can become a password, a way of saying, I am one of you. I see what you see. I understand what others don't. Sometimes this is harmless. A family believes their way is the normal way. A group of friends shares the same opinions, jokes, and stories. A football fan believes their team is obviously the best. These beliefs create connection. They tell us where we belong. But the same mechanism can happen with stranger beliefs too. A person finds a group that makes them feel understood. People listen to them. People agree with them. People tell them they are not crazy. They are awake. They are special. They see what others refuse to see. And suddenly the belief is no longer just about truth. It is about not being alone. So when someone challenges the belief, it may feel like they are not just offering better information. They are threatening the person's place in the group, their role, their status, their people. And for humans, that matters. We are social animals. Belonging can feel safer than doubt. Agreement can feel warmer than evidence. And sometimes a weird belief survives not because it makes sense, but because it gives someone a tribe. So maybe the real mistake is thinking that weird beliefs are only a failure of intelligence, as if humans were computers, as if the only thing we needed was better information, better data, better arguments. But humans are not machines looking for truth in a neutral way. We are emotional animals trying to feel safe in a confusing world. We want things to make sense. We want to feel consistent. We want to belong. And sometimes a strange belief can offer all three. It explains the chaos, it protects the self, and it gives us a group. That is what makes it powerful, not because it is true, but because it works, psychologically, emotionally, socially. This is why simply giving someone facts often doesn't change their mind, because the facts may answer the question, is this belief accurate? But the belief may be answering a much deeper question. Am I safe? Am I still myself? Do I still belong? And when a belief is doing that much emotional work, evidence alone can feel too small to compete. This does not mean every belief is equal. It does not mean truth doesn't matter. It means that if we want to understand why humans believe weird things, we have to stop looking only at the belief itself and start looking at what the belief is doing for the person. Because sometimes the weirdest beliefs are not held by the weakest minds. They're held by very human minds, trying to protect themselves from uncertainty, shame, and isolation. And this is where the question becomes a little uncomfortable, because it is easy to look at someone else's strange belief and think, how can they believe that? But the harder question is, what beliefs feel completely obvious to me only because they protect something I don't want to question? Maybe it is a belief about success, about money, about love, about health, about the kind of person we are, about the kind of people others are, about what is possible for us. Not every weird belief looks dramatic from the outside. Some of them look normal, responsible, practical, even intelligent. A person may believe they are always right because being wrong feels unsafe. Someone may believe the world is against them because that explanation hurts less than feeling powerless. Someone may believe they are not capable of changing because that belief protects them from trying and failing. And maybe that is the most human part of all this. We don't only believe things because they are true. We also believe things because in some hidden way they help us survive the version of reality we are facing. So the next time someone believes something strange, maybe the first question is not, how do I prove them wrong? Maybe the better question is, what is this belief protecting? And then, if we are brave enough, we can ask the same question about ourselves. If you want to keep observing the strange, brilliant, confusing ways humans think and behave, subscribe to Human Watching, because sometimes understanding humans starts with noticing how strange we are ourselves.